We didn't expect to find this on this trip, not this early anyway, but there's a really nice small little cauliflower. You can bet we're going to take that with us. Good find. As I say, not enormous, but too big to leave here. It's definitely got to go home with us. I can't wait to taste this one. This time on this trip we're really trying to key in on the cauliflower mushrooms, and we've walked for about a half an hour, I guess. My partner's already found one small one, and I just ran across this one right here. Now this is a cauliflower tree that we took one off last year in that exact spot. I carefully left some of it because I had read somewhere that if you leave a little bit of it, next year it'll come back again. Well, here it is. Now, it's not huge, as you can see, but I'm going to eat the damn thing anyway. We're really trying to key in on the cauliflower mushrooms, and we've walked for about a half an hour, I guess. My partner's already found one small one, and I just ran across this one right here. Now this is a cauliflower tree that we took one off last year in that exact spot. I carefully left some of it because I had read somewhere that if you leave a little bit of it, next year it'll come back again. Well, here it is. Now, it's not huge, as you can see, but I'm going to eat the damn thing anyway. And walking through this kind of stuff with these great big stumps in here, this is the area that we really like to keep our eyes open for cauliflowers. Well, it's a good thing I'm not blind today, because I just found a dandy. It's not enormous, but as you can see from my hand size here, it's definitely enough there for a few meals. And it's in excellent shape too. Doesn't look like much litter on it. Yeah, I'm nice and happy with this size. In good shape too. Dandy. These are the size stumps that we're normally looking around the base of, trying to find cauliflower mushrooms. It tires me out walking round and round and round, but some days it's worth it. It's not enormous, but as you can see, it'll definitely be a meal. The hardest part is getting them out without breaking them all up, because they usually have branches and sticks and weeds and whatnot growing through them, but if you're careful, get underneath it. Yeah, it's a dandy. I've been told that once you cut these off in the ground, if you leave that stem behind, that they're supposed to come back here next year. Well, in all the cauliflowers I've found, there's only one time that I've actually seen it grow in exactly the same spot. That was one that we found earlier this year. This is usually what I'm looking for, is the base of these great big old stumps. Primarily that's where I find the cauliflowers, but I raised my eyes up a little bit this time, and there's one sitting up on the side of a stump. Don't often see them here, so we'll definitely take that one also. Well, this is the third one we found, so it's actually turning out to be a better day than we thought. Maybe we should just start looking more in dry years, I guess. Well, we ran out of patience at that last spot, so we decided to drive up the road a couple miles here. We just barely got out of the truck and walked 20 feet, and I finally found one. It's not as big as the one that my partner found, but when you're finding collies, who cares what size they are? And it's good and firm too, so I know I'm going to take that one. My partner just hollered at me. He's found his second one. This looks like a pretty small one. I'd be embarrassed to take anything that small, but I'll bet he takes the damn thing. Oh yeah, nice and firm. It's in good shape. Well, so far 3 of them. Hard to complain on a day like that. Take that one. Well, there's the 4th one. The problem is this one is well past. This one you probably should have been at 3 weeks ago. But the spores will be spread here, so it'll be coming back. And just a few feet away from that, my partner spotted another one here. This one is tiny, but that looks like it's in really good shape. Back out in the bush chasing mushrooms again, a little bit south of Nanaimo today. We decided we'd take an area in that in the past we found some cauliflower mushrooms, so we thought we'd have a look today. I stumbled across a few chanterelles and started picking them, so I didn't bother videoing, but I almost tripped over this. And there's a nice one. That's good size. And it's as good a shape as I've ever seen too. So you can bet we're going to take it. My picking partner Bob just happened to walk along the trail after we found that first one, and he's found a baby one here. And as you can see from the size, it's got a ways to go. But we're going to leave this one and come back in a couple of weeks, and that should be about 4 feet across. Well, maybe not that big, but... Well, it looks like we were just a little bit too late for this one. This is a small cauliflower that somebody has actually cut off right out of there. Cleaned it out. They've left all this behind, but there's not enough there to bother taking, so we'll just leave it and see if it grows for next year. Some days you get lucky, other days somebody beats you to it. Well, the previous mushroom pickers didn't find them all, and when you find big stumps like this, checking around the base is probably going to help you find the cauliflowers. And sure enough, there's one that, well, not huge, it's definitely big enough. And I'm sure if I leave it, the next guy's going to come along and take it, so I guess it's going home with us. Well, Bob and I were just standing around here talking about how they're going to log this area pretty good, because if you look at some of those trees over there, they've got the marks on them. That means cut me here. And the steel pegs in the ground. That means cut around this area. And I turned around and looked over here. And what do you know? Another good sized cauliflower. Maybe today is my lucky day. Yeah, it's a nicer one than the first one I found. And it's a good size too, so yes, you guessed it, we'll take this one. Well, as I say, if you come along finding big stumps like this out in the bush, you're going to eventually run across cauliflower. Now this one isn't big enough to keep, as you'll see here from my finger size, but the point is, when you find them 3 or 4 in one day, you definitely know that you're in the right area. This is definitely my lucky day. Even my partner's getting mad at me. Well, that's the spot where I found the last little one right there. And I come around to this side of the stump over here, and I'll be damned if there isn't one right here. Again, it's not huge, but when you're finding them, you're finding them. Well, I spotted that white blaze at the base of this trunk from a distance, but by the time I got up here I was in for a disappointment. That's a nice looking cauliflower from the size of the base of it, but sadly somebody's beat me to it. Goes to show you just can't trust mushroom pickers, at least the other ones. We're trying to pick up a few chanterelles, but we're actually in an area that we found cauliflowers in the past, and my picking partner Bob has just run across one. As you can see from the size of his knife there in this cauliflower, It's maybe not the tiniest one I've ever seen in my life, but it's pretty damn close. But if we leave it here, somebody else will get it, so. Well, we hadn't been walking for 5 minutes from where Bob found that first cauliflower till he stumbled across this second one here. This one is getting closer to a respectable size. And when he hollered at me, I asked him if he would have a look at my eyes when I got close and see if mine were open or not. Because so far, I haven't found a hell of a lot of anything. Well, Bob just gave me a holler. Says he's found a cauliflower. And it seems like he has. Good size one here. Yeah, that's a really good size one. And it's nice and fresh too. Ah, great. It wasn't the mushroom that attracted Bob. I think he spotted that old sink down there and was trying to wonder what he could do with it. Maybe not. Anyway, here's what he did find. That's a nice looking cauliflower. Yeah, and it's actually a pretty good size and looks like it's still edible, so I don't like it. We come down into the bush here. Hadn't walked very far, and here's our first cauliflower. These are the things we're after today. And while I say it's not a great big one, but these things are so darn tasty that we'll take it anyway. Well, this is really getting beyond a joke. About 2 minutes after he found the second one, he hollers at me and says, "Guess what? I found another one." This one's about half the size of the last one he got, but it's still good size, and they're definitely edible now, no matter how small they are, so I'm sure he'll pick it. Bob and I were walking along, picking the odd little tiny chanterelle that obviously somebody else had left, because this area's been picked over pretty good, and I just caught the edge of that white thing there, just 1/8 of a second before Bob said something. So it was almost a tie. A nice looking collie. We weren't really even expecting them in here, but there's no doubt that's coming home with us. Nice size. Definitely a keeper. Yep. That'll go home with us. Bob just hollered at me that he's found one. It's not very big, but this is what they look like when they're just barely coming through the ground or just starting. So, as you can see, it's not very big, but that's 2 for today, so that's not bad. He looks just like a bird dog, doesn't he? He's pointing right at that mushroom. Nice cauliflower. It's not very big, but it looks like it's in excellent shape. Yeah. How could we miss that one? Sitting right on top of a big stump like it is. Once again, at the base of these large stumps, we just keep running into these cauliflower mushrooms. I've said this before, even the last trip we were out. This is not what we expect to find at this time of year, but here's one, and it's in good shape, so we'll throw it in the bag and take it with us. Just when I was thinking about getting my eyes checked to see whether I could find one of these damn things, I finally found one. This is probably 4 or 5 times the size of the ones that Bob caught. That was him snorting in the background. But good size, and that's 4 collies for us in one day, which is pretty much a really good day, especially looking for these things. Definitely in edible shape. This will give you an idea of where we're finding these things. This is a really old stump, been here for a lot of years, logged years and years ago, and that's where they grow, is right at the base of them. And these kind of stumps, you have to spend time walking all the way around them, because the cauliflower is always on the side that you don't look at. I know, because I've missed lots of them. And then to harvest these things, you just take your knife and put it underneath right there and just start cutting across. And take the bottom right off it like that. That's a dandy one. Really good size. Well, cauliflowers are where you find them. They're usually around the base of stumps is where we normally look, but here's one right inside. This is a stump all around the outside edge here. And this guy's right in the middle. And that's a pretty good size one. You can bet I'm going to take that one home. It's a nice shape too.